Hello, hello. I'm back, as promised. And we shall continue where we left off. Which was we were editing the structure. So I went ahead and built before I started the stream in Visual Studio, just so it wouldn't lag right at the start of the stream as I went to build. And you can see now that we have this display name, this sub-display name, we have a static mesh. We can define the material here. And we have the elemental index too, or the element index, which will let us like easily build it. I did just end up calling that materials, which I thought I called that like element index and material. Oh, I did. Interesting. Oh, I call the materials here. Okay. The structure itself is called this, right? But oh yeah, and I wanted to see too if. Oh yeah, cool. You can see right there, like if I have her, I get tooltips now. So I wonder if I can like, yeah, it doesn't have anything that says like expect the Steam def ID, right? So we'd have like something now like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? We would say like staff Merlin here, right? And we can just copy this right here. Go to materials, paste that material. Huh? Matte, polygon, fantasy. Why does it not paste? Do I need to paste it here? Oh gosh, look at that. Huh. I mean, it expects material here. And this is in fact a material. Can I just copy? There we go. I copied that time. Oh, looks like paste. There we go. Huh. Don't know why. Maybe I didn't hit Control C at the same time or something. So I can just say that, and then we could have like a thumbnail here if we wanted. It's not doing anything, so we'll just set like a default image here, right? And then we would say like, we're calling it the weapon socket right now, but we should probably call it the back socket. But I'm not going to change it because Julian's going to be working on that part of the thing, and I don't want there to be like a conflict where it's like, you have this weapon socket thing, and I don't realize that it got renamed, and I should just swap everything over. So we'll let him do his part and ensure we don't cause an unnecessary collision. And once we do that, once he's ready to go, then we can just rename everything to the back socket, because we're not going to like fully fill out the table right now. And yeah, it costs us 0, and it's not in the store. So cool. And then we'd do something like staff level 1 or something like that, right? So we have everything. We have the nice things over here. I might move this static mesh materials and thumbnail down to the bottom and have these things over to the left, just so it's like easier to read. This stuff is hard to read. I wonder if there's a way to quickly do like a simple name here of like the file name, like kind of how this shows here. Like I'd love this to just stay staff Merlin, right? And then if you wanted to get the full file path, you could come into it. The fact that it shows kind of this whole one is pretty crazy. And in fact, we're holding the materials there. So now we can just go to BP character, right? There's lots of trash here. So we would do something like get row from data table. Data table, what is it called? get data table row, right? And then this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Our data table would be DT equipment. Equipment, what do we call it? Steam equipment or something? Steam item def equipment data, right? Oh, cool, you can like actually like hand select it here instead of having to type it. I didn't know that. And then we can just break and yeah, now we're easily able to be like, this is a static mesh. And then we can come off, if we did this right, for each loop, right? You know, we take the array element, we break it, and we set material for the mesh, right? Not that mesh, though. It'd be for this mesh. This is getting hectic. Do. It would be this mesh right here. This is where setting a temporary variable is probably going to become necessary just for it not to get so insane, right? And then we just simply can say we can attach this material here and this element to index here, right? And then we would want to attach, right? So this would go here. And oh well, after the loop completed, after we went through and set all the materials, then we would want to do the attach to a component. So yeah. Just organize this because we're about to like really start implementing. So these are gonna like turn into functions here pretty soon. Right, so it's gonna be something more like this. We need to get this data table row. So only if the row is found would we want to like actually make the static mesh component. So if it's not found, then that's a good sign that like someone's trying to like use something that's not there. So, and this would allow us to do things too, like if we wanted to put a boolean on it at this point that says like active or not, I could also prevent people from not doing anything that's like not live if they somehow manage to get it on their account and then they somehow manage to tell the server, you know, which is possible because you have the way you kind of push things up. But right now it's not super necessary. So, and even if they were to do that, as long as we keep the verification steps, like the worst thing that's going to be happening is that they're demoing some like content that hasn't come out yet / like isn't working perfectly. So we actually don't care about this transform because we're going to do a manual attachment and we're going to just do the snap. So let's grab this. So I like it when it kind of drops immediately like that. And like you can tell now that it's just getting crazy. It's like, but some of these will be local variables and stuff when I go make it a function. So I don't want to make a variable here and then have to delete it. Like I might have to delete some of this stuff, but so theoretically, there's this thing too where I had to compile the character twice every time. We've done something where there's some kind of like looping thing. Oh, I didn't do it right. I'm hitting P, nothing's happening. Let's see where I messed up. Let's assume the row gets found. goes to make the static mesh, which is a for loop to set the material. It attaches the component, and it doesn't work. Try it one more time just to see if it was like I didn't save. You can even see that like something's happening too, like when I hit P. What are we doing here? That's static mesh object reference. We can just check to make sure. I mean, this should be a material interface object reference, so that could be the problem, but I don't think it is. Oh, maybe I didn't save this. That didn't look like it was saved. That's probably what it was. Yeah, so it is finding the row. Just running some prints, seeing like if it gets here. So it definitely is doing that. You can see it's continuing to try. Oh, here we go. I just took I deleted, when I deleted that mesh one, when I was doing a lot of deletions, I just deleted the parent, so it doesn't know which mesh to attach it to. So this almost certainly will fix it. Yep. Cool. That's why you want to start making it look better sooner rather than later, because you can easily delete something that you didn't realize was attached to something and mess everything up. Waste some time. Oh, that's something that I didn't think about when we were planning to here. Do we want to because we kind of want to make sure that it doesn't happen until that the inventory, the equipment doesn't happen until your mesh is selected, because your equipment where it's going to get placed is going to be affected by the mesh. But I think because of the weapon sockets and everything, even when the mesh switches over, it's going to read where its socket is and then rearrange everything. So I think that's not going to be problematic. So I think we can keep it really like asynchronous. But technically, like, there's no need to, because we're gonna make the verification call for all of your customization in one go. So we only make one call per player to the Steam system. So it's very hot. I'm gonna turn this towards me. It's much better. There we go. I wasn't connected to the Steam chat earlier. There's also kind of this question too where like how much do I want to make it so your client has to respect the verification process? So like let's say um, the server never set you this like innate character mesh data or anything like that. Do I want you to like keep the skin that you tried to select, or do I want to kind of force you back to the fallback? But I suppose it's eventually going to send you the fallback anyway, and your character will also never appear if the server never sends you this data. So it must not be failing that much, if ever, I think. So the fallback must happen pretty reliably. So I kind of want to rename this. So I'm gonna rename that, and I'm gonna say this is going to apply character customization data, right? And we can take this all, and we can what? Do I not have an option to collapse this to a function? Oh yeah, there it is. So if you select a bunch of nodes, you have this option to collapse to function, right? So this is real helpful when you're gonna like refactor some code and you want to like start to functionize thing. Update character mesh data, right? And so you can see it just comes right in here, right? And if it gets to the end of an execution pin, it instantly returns, and there's no return value for this, so I'm not too worried. I could like put this like success or failure here, and say like it failed in case anybody wanted to like see if it was failing. But this should just continue to work fine. And what I want to do is you can come over here and you can just say like character customization, right? And then you can just drag things after you've got one in there. It's easy to just drag. It's easy. What? Graph is not editable. Oh, I guess on reps you can't. They want to just make sure that you don't hide them under some like layers, I guess, for the on reps. So that's fine. I'm not too worried about that. Apply the desired character customizations. After character mesh data has been verified by server. So So we can right click this now. We can collapse this to the function, right? And we can call this update character equipment. Move it here, right? And it's still going to behave the exact same way. But now it's on its own graph, so we can kind of start to organize it how we would like it to. See, and I can also I can promote this to a local variable. The benefit of a local variable is every time this function runs, it will this variable is only accessible in this function, and every time the function runs, it gets reset. So now I'll kind of have an option where like either I might send in like a row here and say like equip this item, equip this item, equip this item from that main tree, or I might do that logic here, like have the server set it in the player state somewhere. Be like, here's the list of like valid equipments, and then have the characters equip them. So. We would call this something like current equipment component, right? And then we can do this, and you know, you can just like, you can actually just drag from here. And drag from here. And we can, if you alt click something like this, it'll just destroy all the previous connections. So we can do that to just get rid of the other ones, and it might be easier to spot. We'll just copy this because we're going to use this node a lot now, and then we just can only apply this node. we misspelled this. Customization. There we go. Boom. I could theoretically set this one to a variable too, but I'm not too worried about it. The nice thing about doing it this way is you can clearly see with the structure, like ultimately what gets used. So for this code. So makes it a little bit easier to work with. So now we can go in here, we can double make sure we haven't done anything that breaks it. Of course we haven't, great. So we didn't forget anything here. We can move this over. Do this, make that a little bit easier to read. So like I was saying earlier, I could like add a return function here. Returns is assumed at the end of any node. But if we go look at the function, see how there's this little icon right here? Like that just means that it's running as an event, so it's asynchronous, so we can like run a bunch of them. If we needed to force it, we could do a return function like success and then like run a return node off, but I don't think we need to. So this kind of covers what needs to happen on the character side for things to ultimately get set, it looks like. So I just want to make sure before it gets to this point, because this is going to fire this off, that like my equipment is ready to read. And as long as that's the case, then I don't really have to go edit the system a lot more. So that's in player state, where the server's doing that, right? Is that here? Oh, interesting. This is like, seems a really roundabout way to be doing it. Yeah, it seems really roundabout. I could do a better job of this now. Let's do it right this time, though. So I could have like an array of equipment IDs, essentially. that want to be equipped. But the question now, it kind of becomes like, at which point do I want to validate? Probably like before I even check, I send it to Steam, so I can reduce the number of things that I'm sending to Steam to check on. So we're gonna have a variable in here, right? To just like maintain the same pattern. That's like an array of names. And this is gonna be like our equipment row IDs. I think. Where do I want to do this? Because this has the save game in it, right? How does it get the save game? The game instance does. Okay, so that's why I made it an integer, is because to make it in here. Yeah, it expects this, so maybe this might be better to be an array of integers. I'm trying to think like how I want to do the validation. Like I'm curious if I make a map. Which I would map socket names to an integer, to like the desired equipment. Like, can like a map have like two of the same elements? Test 1, test 2, or test 0? Yes, duplicate keys are not allowed in maps. Good, as expected. This is good because now I could like make a map of all of the valid sockets. So we would just have right now, we would just have weapon socket right here, right? And then and this would be like the server verified version. So does he not replicate this? He says it's server only. He doesn't replicate it, but he must replicate this, yeah. And this could be like where I would like store like active equipment. I would need to make a map. Oh no, I wouldn't need to make a map. I could just make an array inside of the saves of ints of like desired equipment. This like validation of equipment though is gonna have to happen in a few places. So I wonder if I could just do it in the player state completely. I think that like because player states exist on both the server and the client. And I think player state exists even at on the client inside of the script, right? Like what if I do this? Like I'm alive. I'm a real boy. Let's like delay it by like 5 seconds or something. Delay. Right. The idea here is like I'm kind of curious if I like if this exists inside of my entry map, you know, or if there's a special player state that exists inside the entry map, and like this player state only exists during gameplay or something. It doesn't look like I'm a real boy. Okay. So the thing is I really want these variables to like I really want to write a function that can run on the server and the client to validate the inventory, right? Because I don't want to have the validated code in 2 spots. So I'm thinking I do it off of game instance then, because that's where we're already like saving stuff, it looks like. Though to be honest, we might not even save it inside the game instance. We may just like call the game instance, right? Oh look, there we go. We have a save game. Save game slot. Boom. Failed to save game. Interesting. Cool. So this is where we're gonna add our array of equipment. That way you don't have to go re-equip everything every time you play the game. And done a pretty good job of making the game instance not huge. So I'm kind of thinking of maybe different ways to you know, not let it get out of hand. I mean, I could always get the game instance and just set the saved game thing. I get the save game from the game instance and save it on the client. I could also make inside of the save game each of your slots be a different variable, but that would be bad because now that's like another thing you have to do when you want to go add a new weapon slot. You have to go like add this new thing to the save game, and then you have to like have the server like look at it. I could just I don't know exactly how to save a map, but I could look it up, I'm sure. I could save a map, and then you like just send the map over to the server, and then the server does what it does with the map. Or it could be like really dumb, right? Where the server could just be dumb and say like, give me a list of the items you want to equip, right? And then it could just scroll through all the items, see if it finds the row in the database, and then set it to the socket. And then I could use this method because I don't have to worry about duplicate stuff anymore. I could be like, do I even find this socket right in here? And if I find the socket, then I set it. And all that only gets set. Yeah, this is a pretty good way to do it. All that only gets set after verification happens. I thought, yeah, actually on the item ID. So I don't even start looking at item IDs and looking up sockets until like I'm like, you do have this item. You could do something silly like say I want to equip Alexander or something, and it would just be like, and then it would verify that you actually owned it, and then it would go to the equipment. Oh, so it does need to know what equipment it's verifying and what the character is, because it's going to need to do different things with the results. Look at different data tables. But this isn't a bad plan. Let's start implementing. So I may be tossing some work down the road though. Because I'm going to have to save this anyway, so the client's going to have to validate too. And I'm probably going to want the client to do some validation so it doesn't get too crazy. It's actually like a really interesting question. So we're gonna have this like Steam items to verify, right? And it's gonna be like uworks. That's gonna be an array of uwork stuff, right? Uworks, Steam, item def, right? Just a long name for it. Like all this is pretty crazy, right? Like I almost think that like this is just a normal, not replicated. Yeah, like this could just be up here real easily, right? I guess I should just start working. kind of starting to over-engineer things. Okay, so clearly gas save game is going to need a U property of a T array of N32, and this is going to be a I mean, to be honest, anytime you change equipment, we could just run the validate function too. So that's going to be fine. This will work out. I'm gonna double check here. Like adding or removing what happens. Okay, cool. I need to compile. We'll close that just to see. I guess while it's compiling, I could probably work. Worst case, compile fails, and I just have to compile again. Definitely need to play with the player state. So there's a few things I want to do. One is oh, it froze. My stream's still going? Okay, good. Froze is gonna crash. Don't know why it said that. Probably because I have the game open while I'm trying to edit my save game. And maybe it has it in memory or something. So ultimately, probably what I would do is I'd come over here and I'm gonna change this over to an integer. Make you work Steam Def ID, right? And the benefit of turning it over to an integer is all of these now don't have to do that, right? Say make, we would just do it here, like this. It's a little bit easier to read and kind of understand what's going on. But I also want to pass in desired equipment Steam item def ID. And then this we'll pass in an array, right? That array will come in, and we will want to we're going to want to do this. Hi, kitty. Item defs to verify. We'll just call it item def IDs. Oh, don't put spaces. Cool. And if that's all true, then we just want to add to Steam to verify item deaths. And this one is to I should probably break. Look how big this is getting. I should break it out. Yeah, it's getting annoying. Yeah, and there's like gonna be, this is the player state. There's so much going on in here. New graph, character customization, verification. I think we're gonna go in here now. Okay, is this gonna break anything? Oh, apparently I didn't grab some of the nodes somehow. Okay, got all the nodes this time. How did I do that again? Character customization. Verification. Cool. I need to compile. Oh no. What? Why? Who knows? Huh? Who knows? Let's just double check. Okay, we're gonna go through ways one at a time. See, even if I copy and paste the note, it's fine. Like, is this gonna work? Yes, I don't know. Oh, maybe it does say refresh. I do remember there's like a refresh nodes or something. Refresh all nodes. Maybe I can see. We'll just make array for now, just so it compiles. Even though we're gonna actually pass an array through. Pre-Steam validation. I mean, to be honest, I can just functionize this, right? I could, but this event call would probably get confusing. This also like prevents me from like wanting to actually do a sequence like I was intending to do just now. Because like the problem with the sequence is it would hit here and it would do the next thing in the sequence regardless, right? But I really only want to do this if like if I want to make the call, so it's kind of important that it happens this way. We can always copy and paste the code later if we need to. And then let's just get the code on paper. We can always copy and paste later. Validate. Pre-validate. Equipment Steam. Equipment IDs. Right. And it's definitely going to take an integer and an array of integers, and this is going to be the equipment Steam def IDs. So what we're doing here is we're basically just checking to make sure nobody sends the server like a bajillion IDs, because arrays can be of any length. We don't want it to like have to like the server to be like, I better look through these a million values before I can continue on. So I think 25 is probably a pretty good safe number to prevent the server from getting overwhelmed in this for loop. So then we basically want to get data the data table row. Stringify this. Boom. This would be something like this is the equipment data table. Oh. Right here. Error. I mean, I know what it is. It's a I mean, I guess this kind of already verifies it. I probably don't need to do this step because, like, unless someone's putting a really weird equipment socket into the data table, like, you're not going to get any truly strange results. Like, really all I want to do is, like, yeah, then you don't have to worry about this whole, like this doesn't have to have any values in it. Yep, that's great. Is there like an add to the map? Yep, great. So we just say here's a socket and promote this to local variable because I just want to reference it a few times. Current equipment ID. Do. answers the question I was going to ask, which is if I try to add a duplicate key, is it going to throw an error on me, or is it going to overwrite? Which is, and it's going to overwrite. I can get the values right as like an array. I didn't get keys. Can I get values? Yeah, sweet. So that's going to work out well. We would just call this unverified equipment. And this is actually not what we want to do. Because remember, people could be adding like things from multiple sockets here. Because then at the end, I can come down here and I can get this unverified equipment and get those values, right? And then say for each in here. Then do this. The only problem here is if we ever want to have multiple items in the socket, I'll need to think of a solution. But I think overall, like, I just don't see that happening. So I think this is a pretty good protection system. Guard against sending a ridiculous list. Ensure that there is a 1-to-1 equipment socket ratio. And then add all the unverified items to the array for when the call is made. Sweet. And then this is a return. So when I'm using a for each loops, I really like to specify, I don't have to, but I think it helps with the readability of the, oh, this would not work. So it helps with the readability of the thing, because if it hit this completed and had nowhere to go, it would just stop, right? But I don't want people to think it's like returning here and then, or anything. So get this map of this. Can you make your tab full screen? Oh, sorry about that, Donovan. I just saw the text, so I shall do that. And I can even zoom in more if I do that. Give everybody a little bit more visibility. I wonder if I can. I do kind of want to make it a little bit bigger too. I don't know if you're still there, Donovan, but if you are, if this works for you, let me know. Thank you for checking out the screen. we'll check the data table and add them to the Steam array. And while I'm at it, since I want this to ensure, I want this to run, I need to make sure this runs before it gets it. I can just say success here. And it would be successful in this case. It wouldn't have been successful in this case. And then if anybody ever wants to do this. Oh, I got some good ideas, I think. So I could turn this into a pure function. I could take this unverified equipment, make it a local variable, right? Because local variables are okay in pure functions because you're not changing the state of the world outside of the function. And I could return this map instead. So then anybody could ever call it, like if they had access to the player state. But not everyone has access to the player state. But I could go and put this function in like the game instance or something. Somewhere where like it's always available and easy to get at. It does start to like branch where the equipment stuff lies. And I kind of do want to keep the unverified equipment around anyway because I need to, after the call is made, I need to check to see what you actually owned and then make your actual verified equipment list. I mean, this is even more complicated than it needs to be because this doesn't even need to be a map necessarily. Because I could just like throw out back an array of like verified equipment. Like I could just return this array. Oop. And like that would ultimately probably be better. Yeah, I would. Now that's going to in fact be an integer. Very interesting. And this can be just an array. Yeah, I know. I'll take care of it. Right. And now, I don't need that. Do this and then up. Right. So the benefit, yeah, you can see here already the benefit branch. Is that we can do something like this over here. Right, and then we can just like start a function. Nope. And you can say like for each, right? And I just want to collapse this to a function. And then add equipment IDs to verify list, verify array. Now we just come back in here. X list isn't too big. Requires one slot per one socket per equipment. and so I don't want somebody to think that this was successful if it didn't find anything. I would bet that people would expect that success meant that you found at least one thing. So we'll do this. And so if the length is greater than 0, it succeeds and returns. Oh, I hate that. Okay, so we've got it. So now it's going to start sending any equipment that we save to verify. Now we just need to go down here before we do too much, and we're going to duplicate this. We're going to call this active equipment. Function here. Function. I wonder if there's a hotkey for it. Nope. I wonder if there's cause function. Nope. Let's do this. Verify equipment. Steam response. Actually, to be honest, I don't think I need to do the link thing here, because if it's not big enough, then it will just complete and return. This look real nice. And then return. Check to see if each item is in there. If it is, then do that. I'm just gonna call it verified equipment. Even though he's using the active terminology. Validated, but not equipment that has been verified by the server to be owned by the player. We're replicating it. Okay, it'll be smart enough by itself that it won't this will all happen within a frame, so it will be fine. Success. Successful if there is at least always returns success. So the great thing about this is gonna be is that like if you get to this point where like you could make the call, then the equipment's gonna apply to you even if you didn't own your character or it failed to find that you owned your character. So then it's gonna confirm your active character. It's going to set your character mesh. And it's gonna set your skeletal mesh. Mhm. Okay, so if we should play, nothing should happen because I haven't saved anything. So I'm not even asking the server. But this still works, so that's a good sign that it's gonna work. So we have the server verifying equipment now. Probably. I need to test, but I feel pretty confident. We took it slow. We were pretty meticulous. nothing too crazy in it, so I feel pretty confident that this is just gonna work. So now it's just making the part where the client can equip this stuff. Yeah, because we know by the time that the character gets it now that it's safe, I don't need to validate it again. But I will have to validate it. I'll probably want to, I mean, as long as I don't even necessarily have to validate it there either. But I mean, that whole equipment UI and system part of the system is going to be not too bad anyway. Basically, I'll just resave your state every time. That's the great thing, is if we can like keep this save game state like this, like so simple, like saving is really easy and loading the game is really easy. So okay, next thing we should look at is kind of like review what the game looks like at different resolutions to see where maybe the quickest way to slip it in would be. So one option, we just have equipment button here. You go to the equipment button, we show it, right? Another option would be like put it on this page, like just call this customization instead, like maybe put it up here, like just for now. Oh gosh, this is sometimes, I don't know why I insist on doing it this way when I could just like try it at some different resolutions, right? Oh, really? The game looks like that at this resolution? What resolution did I... Oh, I selected like some real weird one anyway. But we should do a better job than this too. But yeah, 1280 by 1024. That's like a square screen. This would be like the most standard resolution. So we've got this spot up here still that we could do. I mean, we're about to have some more characters, so that's gonna start stretching this stuff out to the left. So it'll be like, maybe I just break down and just make an equipment page here. I think I can just call that character instead of character skins. So I do need to like look at it in every language too, because I'm gonna start pushing. Like right now, I'm pretty confident that that's not a problem, but things are gonna get started getting shoved in quite a bit if I did just weapon there. I think combining statistics and leaderboards at some point would probably make sense. I'd even love to just like even break the store out. That's probably too much to do right now, but like imagine you just had like a customization page here and it just showed you the characters that you owned, and then otherwise there was a store. You'd hit the store and then you could like see, and then you could like filter. It'd be easy to filter like what could I get for chromas and stuff, and then I could show you like what chromas you were able to buy more easily. This one's coming soon, within a couple weeks I think, but it depends on when our partner is ready to roll. UIs, kind of annoying. Like I could maybe change it so like statistics is here too. Just hit statistics. That would give me the space. I could trim it right here. Like when you go to equipped, it like pops up and then lets you select. Like it's gonna get crazy so fast though. I really want to avoid that if I can. When he re-added the Merlin and it got all smooth. I'll have to let him know about that. How does it look like other colors? Yeah. I could take redeem code and shove it in the settings, but my partner's like probably already taking screenshots, so maybe I don't want to do that until after he's done his thing. I could make everything, could decrease the size of the font too. Like what does it look like in, we'll try Chinese. Okay, Chinese has got plenty of room. I need to like change this to, I want to change this to an icon. German is like already like is a long language and it's already like there's no room for equipment, right? Unless we make equipment an icon. I could make equipment an icon. No longer have to localize it. Make it like a sword and shield icon. You click on it and then you see the equipment. Then I could like do kind of a thing like this where like I'd actually kind of want to turn the camera. I wonder if I've messed this scene up so much too that that's going to be hard. Because I did like wipe most of the stuff that you can't see out of the scene to like try to make it load faster. Since we don't let the camera move. But I'd kind of want the camera to move because I kind of want you to be on like the left side or something maybe. Oh, then again, maybe like, maybe not. Maybe you being in the center would be fine. And I could do like a weapon point to the back and equip it. I'm also gonna have to get the like you click and drag and rotate your character here going, especially for the weapons because it's gonna be hard to see. We also need to remove this guy's back piece. That's going to be like a little bit of a rewrite. I think I'm going to want to rewrite exactly how we do items now that I fully understand it, just to like, because we do some pretty hairy stuff, but now I fully understand I could do it a lot better. Yeah, so I think we'll go with an icon. Let's just check some of the other languages just to make sure there's not like, there's not even room for an icon or anything for that language or something. Right here. Maybe I can make it look like a button too. I kind of wanted to start moving over to buttons over this like style menu. We get a lot of complaints about like how simplistic the design is. So. Before we do all that, let's go here. We're going to fetch to make sure no one's pushed anything up. Then we're going to stage the selected and say equipment is now getting verified by the server. It has all the values it needs to become real. You'll need to define the item in the data table, and then put the row ID in the BP character event graph to test equipment. Yep. Is there anything else? Oh, interesting. I wonder how this even works so much. What do we call it then? Like the... that big image there. I might do that. Main nav bar. There you go. We got a spacer here. We probably like lower the size of the spacer too. I feel like we could like really buff this up because like the image itself already has padding. Oh, I see what he was doing though. He's making it the exact same height as all these. That's fair. That's fair. What is this? What is this? This is an image. How does he do that? Oh, it's inside of another horizontal box. I hope I didn't mess this up already, but I don't remember exactly what it looks like. It's kind of interesting that he has this here. I think this was made a lot earlier in development too, where we just weren't as aware. Yeah, I like this one. Oh, neat, we have this. This is cool. We could do necklace to kind of indicate accessories. I'm thinking maybe I come in here and I find some kind of like gold button, maybe. I feel like there was like a way to like run this easily. I don't remember how. See like levels maybe? See, templates are so hard if you don't make them work in the designer to like actually work with or use, because you're just like, what is it gonna look like? Okay. That's enough looking. I think we can start trying some things. So. Okay, cool. He was smart. How he did that. I think I want to like just add a button. I want it to be on this side of the spacer, right? And do any of these item ones like look kind of what I want? Like I thought this buff one was pretty good. Maybe I can just try doing the buff. Let's make sure he's not doing anything crazy in here. Oh, really? Let's just try adding a widget buff and see what happens. Straight up, pretty good. Yeah. I think I just copy this in and call it WBP equipment menu and I think I mean just play the color in a little bit, but probably also want to give it some effects that are just like on hover and things too. But yeah, I mean definitely maybe make it a little bit smaller. It seems a little bit ridiculously big compared to everything else, but give it some more space to the right too so it comes closer over. I mean maybe I even want it on the left side there. Oh, actually, no. So let's see here. So it's gonna look most like this, so we'll just take a screenshot of a page like this. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's go to at least an AP here. Okay. So let's just kind of work out what we want to do here. So we're gonna like, oh, definitely gonna, that's gonna be open space. This is gonna be open space. Theoretically, this is gonna be open space. Well, we'll leave those just as like indicators. Leave those as like kind of indicators. So these could be like your slots, right? Like, kind of what I'm thinking here is, right? Maybe we do something. What? Totally copy and paste that. You know? Or just like this. And then like later, you know, we could easily add like a helmet, right? So like you click on one of these bad boys, and then over here it just lists out all the items that you could have, right? And then like you click the item, and then it like equips the little weapon on them. You know? You click, it changes, click, it changes, click, it changes. And then like you just swap between this. You just have to make sure that this, what you have selected here is like really clear. And then you could have like little like lock icons on anything that like you didn't own. And you can click on it. You could maybe see more information about the item over here. Like its cost and unlock. I could basically reuse that other character selection part, you know? Like, what do you need? You need like how to obtain, essentially. And then you need the unlock button. What else? Is there anything else you really need on items? Because like the thing is like I don't want to make the icons like super big, right? So they can like fill up that much of the screen. So it's just like I could put the icon there, but like that doesn't take much space either. Is there anything else I could like include, like information wise? I don't know. What else is interesting to show about equipment? I mean, another option would be like, this is like all your unbought equipment on this side. This is all your earned equipment. And then you like select from your earned equipment and then you can unlock stuff and then it moves over to this side. Like what would you do? Like click it and then like a big box appear down here or something? So it's like unlock what the cost and how to obtain and stuff. No, sure. I guess I could just make it smaller too, right? There's no reason for it to. The only reason it's this big over here is because like we want to show off all that stuff. Like I could just make the box like, you know, like this big over here. And it could just have like the icon and how to obtain and unlock if you can unlock it. That probably makes the most sense. I can probably even like avoid this part of the equation right now too and just have it right here for now. Just to like get it out faster. I could probably have this done tomorrow. So over here we have like everything that you own at the top would be preferable. And then like as you scroll down you can see things that you were able to buy, I think, and then maybe other items that we wouldn't show until, because I don't think I want to like constantly rub in people's faces which items they don't have, especially if they're unable to get them ever again. Yeah, so any items that you can like buy would also be over here. Maybe I could put little coin symbols on them. Like a little coin or a little dollar symbol to show whether or not you can purchase them with coins or purchase them with real money. Throwing in like an item or two that you might be able to equip with real money might be interesting, just to see if people buy them at higher rates than characters. So I think it also just adds value to the system. Like if some are cost money and some cost coins and some you earn, like things in the system seem more valuable. Sounds like a good idea. I can wipe this part off, wipe this part of the screen off. Basically just keep this and like fill this full of like a slot. So I can mostly dump everything. The only thing that's interesting from this one is like the unlock screen. So it also kind of brings up the point that I probably want to add how to obtain and as like a string of text that I can just build. Though I don't even know if I need that for now because I won't show things you can't obtain. So really I just need cost. We already have the idea of like coins versus whatever from the other system, so I can kind of just steal that logic too. Yeah, then just do like a quick unlock close button. These could even like go theoretically up to the top of the screen, right? Because I could just like, I'll have this part of the screen generally open. So like I might even have like the selection window here, and then like down here have the what you can buy. For now, I can just probably even just use the backpack icon over the anything else, just because to the point you're just putting it on your back. So then switch it over to like maybe an armory icon like this after, or maybe just put it armory so people realize more stuff will come. I could even put the slot here pretty simply, I think, just to kind of show that we're probably going to expand on the system in the future. Yeah, so we have a plan for the UI. Get the UI done tomorrow, hopefully. Check up with Julian, see where he's at on the material-based stuff. Yeah, pretty simple. Feel pretty confident next week we'll have this out. Alright, thank you everybody for watching. Hope you have a great night. I am going to get a little sick and head to bed. So, I might stream tomorrow. It is going to be Friday, so it kind of depends on what's up. A lot of times people want to go hang or do something, so I might not have as, I might be out late and not be up to streaming. But you'll probably see me at least on Saturday or Sunday at some point, and definitely if not, like the latest will be Monday. So hope you all have a great night. Thanks for tuning in, and hope you enjoy this feature when it gets done.